Everybody sing the same song. It goes tonight, 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 tonight. I never realized that these artists thought so much about dying. But truth be told, we all have the same end. Could make you cry, 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 cry. But I'm telling you, this is the best news you're getting all week. Oh, sure, it's ruling the airwaves, or what remains of the airwaves. And we're frankly thankful for the market psychology driving us to. But true, that all the hits are saying the same thing. There's only tonight, 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 tonight. Man, life is finite, but shit, it feels like forever. It feels like forever. Is everybody feeling the same stuff? We're all wild, except for you. And you know who you are. This is a love song. And you're getting older. I promise you this, you're getting older. And there's improvements unless you're such a winner. That the future's a nightmare. And there's nothing I can do, nothing anyone can do about this. I'm offering you a chance to get even, but you know very well the dialect of negation. Should enemies haunt you with spit and derision, but friends are the ones who can put you in exile. But that's not right. And you're too sharp to be used, or you're too shocked from being used by these bullying children of the fabulous, raffling off limited edition shoes. And what's it you do again?
Oh, I'm a reminder, the hobbled veteran of the disc shop inquisition, set to carry the cocksure mem's stick filth with my own late-era middle-aged ramblings.
Every lover favors the same things. It's all touch me, touch me, touch me, touch me, touch me. We maybe realize what it is we need before we die. And luck is always better than skill at things. We're flying blind. Oh, good gracious. I sound like my mom. But out of the little rooms and onto the streets, you've lost your internet and we've lost our memory. We had a paper trail that led to our secrets, but embarrassing pictures have now all been deleted by versions of selves that we thought were the best ones, till versions of others repeated
So thank you everyone for coming and joining us this evening for our first, and like I like to call, hopefully our last ever, virtual graduation ceremony for the graduates of the Department of OBGYN for the class of 2020. So this year is just weird for lots of reasons. And this year's chief class went through way more than any other class has really ever had to go through at Maimonides in the past. Maimonides is a tough OBGYN residency. Maimonides in COVID adds a whole nother layer. So these 7 resident graduates have been through something that I can't even imagine being in their position. And they have heard me say that before. I had to get my tissue box because I realized that I am always going to get very emotional during these things because it reminds me of this time in my life. It makes me want to text all of my resident graduate friends who are still very good friends of mine. And it also just makes me so incredibly proud to be a part of the training of the 7 of you amazing individuals. I'm adding Camila in as well because I get to take a little bit, a very small fraction of credit for her as well. And we are also celebrating her this evening very much. So I just want to take this very short moment before I pass it on to the rest of the graduates to thank every single one of you, not just even the people in the Department of OBGYN. We have so many colleagues who are also in other departments and also not even the people who are necessarily department specific, but we're talking about all of the attendings, all of the other residents and other specialties, but particularly all of the nurses, all of the information specialists, all of the environmental people, all of the scrub techs, all of the nursing assistants, all of these people who are part of our day-to-day, who have helped train all 7 of you and make you the people that you are, that I'm so incredibly proud to say that we got to have the pleasure of training you here at Maimonides. We are so proud of you. We cannot be more proud of you. I cannot believe that you all stuck around during all of this craziness and you're all still here and you all actually made it. You did all of those crazy hysterectomies with Dr. Herzog and Dr. Brawl and Dr. Ellison and Dr. Comrie and Dr. Slotkin. You did all of those crazy C-sections with Dr. Hafiz and Dr. C and Dr. Silverman and Dr. Troper. You guys did all of that. When you look back at your case log, every single one of those numbers is attached to a woman and a family that you have touched the lives of. And that is such an amazing experience that you will never ever forget residency. You don't miss it now because you're waiting to get the heck on out of here. And I understand that. But I promise you, there will be a time in your life, and it's not even going to be that far in the future, when you will look back on this and you will actually miss parts of it. Obviously not all of it. So I want to let the rest of the evening be your voices and your time with a little bit of humor that I'm throwing in only because Dr. Minkoff, of course, is going to require that in his last graduation. But without further ado, I would like to pass it on to Dr. Janet Stein, our acting chair.
Not till July 1st. Welcome, graduates, friends, and families. I just want to give a shout out to Dr. Jacob Salome, who told me he has attended every graduation for the past 50 years. So if he sticks around for 51, I'll get to dance with him. Transitions in life always give us pause, and graduation is one of those big ones, now more than ever. The confluence of world events, pandemics, social justice with your private lives is unsettling to say the least, but transitions are liminal times. You are sitting on the threshold of excitement and change. Transitions always have a before and after. When we look back at the before, we often think how naive we were. We wish we would have appreciated what we had a little more if only we had known what was coming our way. We wish we could turn back the clock to alter some small event that might have changed outcomes, but we can't do any of those things. But we can try to do better as we go forward so that maybe we will have fewer regrets when we stop to pause at our next big transition. I think that at Maimonides and your education under the tutelage of Dr. Minkoff, the organization of Dr. Morell, and the day-to-day support from faculty, attendings, midwives, PAs, nurses, and the whole organization has given you lots of tools to help as you transition from before to the after in your lives. You learn teamwork. You learned to think critically and ask questions. You acquired surgical skills and gained confidence. You delivered a lot of babies. You corrected anemia and stopped hemorrhage. You escalated and asked for help when you needed it, knowing that this was a strength, not a weakness. You advocated for your patients and yourselves. You were chief residents and leaders. You were both mentees and mentors. You made lifelong friends. You are ready to transition. And as you move ahead, I do hope that once in a while you will look back to remember Maimonides and the people who helped you fly. We are very proud of you. Good luck.
Thank you much, Dr. Stein. Then the next speaker that I'd like to introduce is none other than our fantastic residency program manager, Carmen Lopiccolo.
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for attending our virtual graduation ceremony. To all my graduating chiefs and our MIS fellow, my MIS fellow, even though graduation is different for you this year, the achievement and your hard work is still the same. You've all put in the same hard work. You've learned and have grown so much. And I couldn't be more prouder of all of you. You guys were an amazing team and will be doing amazing things in the future. And I love you and wish you the best of luck. Congratulations to all, the class of 2020. I will miss you.
Thank you, Carmen.
Come on, Sweater.
Thank you.
But you can't clap on Paul. Mute.
Lots of kisses being sent your way, Carmen, too, if you can't.
Thank you. I love you all.
If you're clapping, go off mute, Ariel. Clap on mute.
So for the next part, we tried to make some visual interesting things for this virtual graduation. So all of the 7 graduates have no idea what order we are going in. So speakers also don't know. So we helped build this very fancy virtual randomizer, which is coming up now. So when you guys are ready, we are going to find out who is speaking first. Oh, and it's
Maureen.
That's good. Then it gives me a second. Okay. So winning what I consider to be the award this evening for overcoming the most adversity during residency, the award goes to Maureen Clark. For those of you who don't know, last summer, Hahnemann University Hospital in Philly closed, and over 500 residents and fellows from all the different departments were suddenly without a training location. Maureen was one of those victims. I first heard about Maureen when I reached out to her program director in Philly at the Hahnemann program to see if they had any residents needing a spot. And after reading her file, we invited her for an interview. Maureen had obviously been through a lot, but I saw something in her that I knew. I knew that my team at Maimonides could train this woman. I am sure that part of this was how terrible I felt for her and how I could not have imagined something like that happening to me when I was an almost chief. But Maureen warmed my heart the minute I met her. She has a tremendous amount of self-awareness and was fully forthcoming about everything about herself, her training, and how hard the situation had been on her. We got her on board here and she made a seemingly smooth transition. Over the next few weeks, every single attending who interacted with her pulled me aside to tell me how well she was doing and what a wonderful addition that she had been to the team here. I got a lot of credit for bringing her on, and I hadn't done anything other than seeing the potential in her. A year later, I could not agree more with what everyone had been saying. Maureen has been a breath of fresh air. She's focused on the wellness of her resident team and herself and her patients. And I'm very pleased to say that she is graduating from Maimonides because I know that she will be a great physician and she's gonna make us look good. I'm happy to say that we get to keep her for a few months more before she graduates at the end of September, and that the borough of Brooklyn won't be losing her at all when she starts her job later this year. Congratulations, Maureen.
Yeah. Thanks,
People
Dr.
off mute when you clap.
We will all come off mute when we clap. I just want to say how grateful I am to have had this opportunity and have been welcomed into the Maimonides family. And when my program announced its closure, it was one of the most stressful times of my life. That was multiple weeks of possibly having to move to Albuquerque. And so when I found Maimonides, it was truly a blessing. And my residency journey has been a little bumpy, but I'm really happy to say that this last year at Maimonides has been the best year of my life. And I couldn't be more thankful to Dr. Morell and Dr. Minkoff and everyone who took a chance and accepted me into this program. And without this opportunity, I really don't know where I would be today, but it could possibly have been Albuquerque. I really don't know how to express my gratitude, but I thank you all so much. I also want to thank Dr. Comrie for showing me the light in the beginning and being there for me early on when I got to Maimonides, and showing me what a badass surgeon really is. And I want to thank my class for accepting me, sharing their vaginal hysterectomies with me, and giving me the code to the chief call room so I could take my naps. And I really appreciate all of you. I especially want to thank Sweta. She really showed so much support for me this entire time, integrated me into the schedule seamlessly after making the whole schedule. Then she made it again so that I could fit right into it. Vibu and Joey for answering all my texts about SCM, and my twin Alex for loving nails and having a nose ring and balayage and being referred to as Maureen. So I also want to thank Camilla for making sure I passed FLS and getting me up to speed on the robot. And I want to thank my family for being there for me for these past 4 years. So thank you guys so much. I couldn't be happier to be a Maimonides graduate.
Okay, and now to the electronic thing that we have named the Diplominator. Here comes next.
Ooh.
Is Dr. McLaren available?
Yes.
Ooh.
All right. Good evening, everyone. It was my greatest pleasure to introduce the one and only
Sound problem.
Vibu, you got to mute yourself when you're in the same room.
So no, that VD does not stand for venereal disease. We all know it definitely does not stand for vaginal delivery. I have known Vibu since he was a fourth year medical student rotating here at Maimonides. Ever since then, everyone knew him as a hard worker, roll up your sleeves and get the job done kind of guy. I still remember as a third year OB resident, how nice it was to have him on the team. It was like having an extra intern. His amazing work ethic stayed with him throughout residency. He received a couple of resident awards, like this year, the AAGL Minimally Invasive Gynecology Award, and the more prestigious SMFM Award. Yes, that's it. So actually, Amro and I have been competing for Prasad to try to get him to do, the fellowships. But sadly, we both lost. So he's going to be taking his talents to San Giovanni Women's Hospital in back home in Trinidad. That hospital is so blessed to have him, or so lucky to have him join their practice. My friend, you have such a bright future. I'm so proud. Do not change. Continue that work ethic you have, and always stay curious with those questions. Perhaps one day we'll do a multi-center international study. Yeah. And I just want to, I just want to tell you that I'm gonna miss you, and I'm gonna miss all our inside jokes. Only two people will understand that joke. So without further ado, please give a loud virtual virtual round of applause for Vibhu Prasad.
Oh, you.
Thank you.
So,
You're on mute.
all right, thanks, Rodney. Oh my God, I can't believe you went there. Thanks, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Thank you, Rodney, for that awesome introduction. That was just crazy. You know, yeah, he's right. Like, I first came to MIMO as a fourth-year med student, and some of you probably remember me, right? I have to start off by saying thanks to Dr. Yopis. You were the person that knew me as a med student, and for some reason that still didn't deter you. It took me into the program. And I don't know where I would have landed or if I would have landed were it not for you. You've been a constant source of advice, feedback, and kind words. You saw something in me, and I hope I was able to live up to your expectations. You know, it started first year. I didn't know what the hell I signed up for. It was a crazy place. I didn't know where I was supposed to be going. I was getting yelled at by the attendings, the residents, the nurses, Emily, some patient's husband, Maxine, just everyone on the planet. But I learned more Jamaican curse words than OB that year. But it was great, you know. And then PGY2 flew by. PGY3 was a little better, and then I started night flow chief, and with Amar and Rodney as my attendings, and thought, damn it, I want to go back to intern year. Then suddenly I'm getting yelled at by everyone I mentioned before and the interns because they have no respect these days. But you know, it's crazy. It's crazy to think that it's almost done, and here we are in COVID land. I don't know when it happened and how we became the finished products, but something worked. To the residents, you guys are awesome. Thank you for all your hard work and support. It's been an honor and a privilege to work with all of you and watch each of you grow the way you have. Except Kim, and yeah, you still kind of suck, but there's always that one, I guess. But seriously, you guys are a seriously badass group, capable of great things. I went away for a month and spent time at Columbia, and that just confirmed that you guys are really badass. You have no idea. The 4 years do pass in a blink of an eye, so just try to make the most of it and enjoy yourselves along the way, okay? Dr. Morel, thank you as well. We worked together with the education side of things for the residents. I hope I was able to bring something positive to that role. And I have to say special thanks to you for being so understanding earlier this year when I had a difficult time with my family and I had to be home for them. That meant a lot to all of us. Special mentions, Dr. Zhu, Dr. Palio, Dr. Elson, Dr. Moore, Dr. Comrie, all the other attendings that sat me down and talked me through some career crisis with the other. You know exactly what I needed at every point, whether it was your kind words or that thing Dr. Ellison does. To all the other attendings, thank you for all your teachings. I know it may not have seemed like it, but I did learn a thing or two from every one of you. Galina, Vanessa, Tina, Martha, there's so many more, but you nurses felt like mothers to me away from home. Thank you for all of your support and love. To my awesome PAs and midwives, thank you for your great work. You were my first teachers and I appreciate all that you do. To the co-chiefs, thank you. Seriously, I could not ask for a better class. Swetha and Danilo, you guys killed it as admin chiefs and as friends. I really just wish you guys had released the entire year schedule in advance. Then we could have known COVID was happening and it would have been great, but I don't know why you guys didn't do that. But I wouldn't have made it through with my sanity intact without you. You guys kept me functional and sane as the duties started to pile up. Swetha, I still think you could learn a thing or two about conflict resolution from Danilo and I. Real men fight not with words or swords, but with memes and pranks. Either way, from the bottom of my heart to both of you, GYBAT. Thanks to my boys, Amar and Rodney. Seriously. Seriously, you guys were my best friends here, and our shifts were the ones I'll remember most. We always got Domino's, and I blame you guys for my antipods and weight gain. We also got Papa John's. The fact that I'm the only one of the three of us that got fat is irrelevant. It's all your fault. And thank you for the message of encouragement, like the one Rodney just gave me. Seriously, you guys are the worst. And then last but not least, hi mom and dad, I'm on TV from New York. I even had dinner, mom, so everything's good. I couldn't be here without you guys. Dad, you're always here to listen to me vent and offer advice. Mom, you know how to distract me from my worst days by complaining about my facial hair. I just want to let you know, most of the people on this call knew from meeting me that I had gotten beaten as a child, and most of them think it should have continued. Auntie and Uncle Rohit, Satya, thank you. My family away from home, thank you for everything you've done. And that's about it from me. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate it. Oh God, oh God, oh God.
So before we go to the next one, in all my craziness of just popping out of the OR, I forgot that there was some other thing about each chief that I wanted to see. So I looked through your residency applications to find things that people might find interesting. So Vibu was a member of the national team of the TTO Taekwondo Association, competed on the TTO East Zone cricket team, and his other hobbies included chess, scuba diving, and table tennis. His worst grade was his B- in bioethics. He had a glowing letter of recommendation from Dr. Yopes. He was interviewed by Dr. Chen and Dr. Ellis, who said he was very pleasant. And Dr. Minkoff interviewed him and said, quote, seems like a good, solid person. Can't agree more. And then Maureen, because I missed you, in your application, you did your undergrad at UC San Diego, you volunteered as a gymnastics coach in Philadelphia, and you listed your hobbies as baking and pastry, cooking, yoga, running, gymnastics, traveling, hiking, camping. You won the Medical Student Teaching Award in June of 2019, and my favorite thing is you won the Golden Birth Ball Award as the intern awarded who had the who best embraced the philosophy of midwifery. Well done.
Honorary.
Now the diplominator will tell us who we're celebrating next.
Diplominator.
Emily. So on Emily's application, she dreamed of being a surfer, but she decided to be a doctor based on her interest in genetics. Dr. Ullman interviewed her and said that she'd be a perfect fit for Maimonides. Dr. Robinson said she was a very strong candidate. Her hobbies included playing the flute and new baking recipes. And her first ever poster presentation was entitled, quote, The Painful Wrist. Emily Settleman. Dr. Comrie.
So congratulations to all the graduates. I must tell you, when Dr. Morell said 2 minutes, for all of you who know me, you know, I'm the long-winded person. So that was my biggest punishment. But I had a teacher in school who taught me Précis. So here I go. Dr. Emily Tettleman. What a woman. I need to take a few moments just to say to her parents, you know, we get the kids in the formative years, and so we build the formative years, and then we educate our kids. The CV of Emily we heard about, and now Emily walks into Maimonides. You look at Emily, and then you can't believe the voice. Authoritative. She had, for me during the residency, a fixity of purpose. Emily is knowledgeable. Emily is a fantastic surgeon. I spoke to a few attendings just to get an idea of Emily. And I will tell you, Emily has blossomed into exactly what, as her mentor, I would want to see her be. You have to know Emily to understand her hallmarks: integrity, honesty, great work ethics. She works the floor when she's on at nights. And 3 of the first group of attendants said to me, if I have a patient in trouble, when I land in that hospital, Emily is the face I want to see. And that's so true. Even I will tell you, I saved myself a drive-in speeding ticket because that authoritative voice got on the phone at about 3 a.m. and said, Dr. Comrie, your patient is here. I think she has a hemiperitoneum. And I think you definitely need to take her to the OR and you have to come in. Boy, I tore up the Belt Parkway. When I got to my Monades after my little speeding thing, Emily was at the bedside with the patient and the sonogram. She put the sonogram on her belly and I said, yes, you're correct. Now we have to get this OR. She said, the OR is ready. Bum, bum, bum. In minutes, we were in the OR. And before you know it, within less than half an hour, that belly was opened up. So it's focus. It's having the sense to get there before we get there. It's having this organizational skill that is so important in medicine. So when Emily goes out to Long Island, of course, you know, I'm in Long Island, so she could always drop by. When she goes to that woman's health pavilion, they are gonna have somebody special. Because Emily is the type of person that if there is a problem, she runs towards the problem, not away from it. She takes charge and she zeroes in on the problem and she comes out successful, never praising herself, but as the people who work alongside her, we know, great job, Emily. So Emily, I want you to go out there. I want you to work hard as you always do. I want you to just understand that you continue not to go for cheap popularity, but to say what is right and what is correct. I want you to continue to demonstrate the solid upbringing that you got. And I want you to know that I certainly will never forget you. My number is on speed dial any time of night or day that you need to. And the last but not least, you know, with the rites of passage, you know, I always come to, we await the wedding. I got that from Dr. Minkoff. You know, he's always talking about the trying to marry off all the residents. But just the last rites of passage at this time, that is around the corner. But again, never compromising, but waiting for that right person who absolutely complements the woman you are and reflects the training you got. Emily, I'm proud of you. I want you to continue to be strong and brilliant and caring to your patient and to be that great team player. Because when you love your job and when you love your patients, it's all about that in medicine. Congratulations, congrats to your parents, and congrats to the team of faculty and nurses that brought you to this point. We love you, Emily.
Hey, Emily. I already have like a full box of tissues, as anyone who's ever had to meet with me is aware. I'll have one too. My speech is very short and obviously pre-written. Duh. Hold on, let me just get ready. Okay, you ready? So as you're all hyper acutely aware after 4 years, I am not one to keep quiet or keep my opinions to myself. And so I'm sure the majority of you already have an idea. I see you, Dr. Ellison. I'm sure a majority of you already have an idea of how fantastically elated I am to be graduating today. I have tissues on standby. My nose will eventually stop running, don't worry, and I'll try to be brief. This has certainly been a challenging 4 years. If I had to summarize it, I would say it was probably the best experience that I'd rather never, ever have to do again under any circumstance. However, with that being said, I want to thank those of you nurses, Christy, Kristen, Galina, Tina, anyone, Martha, the entire night nursing team, anyone who's had the privilege of doing 8 straight weeks of nights with me in a row for all 4 years of my residency. I know it's not easy. All of the PAs, Layla, Mel, Stella, honestly, you guys have been so important in my training and my residency. You taught me, you know, how to hold the transvaginal probe the correct way and how to do a speculum exam. All of the midwives. Anna, honestly, I hope that I can eventually convince you to follow me to LIJ. Sorry, guys. And all of the doctors who have trusted me along the way and believed in me and really pushed me over the years to help me transition from the often insubordinate intern to the ever slightly more professional and polished chief that I am today. Dr. Comrie, Dr. Slatkin, Dr. Herzog, Dr. Silverman, Dr. Sandoval, Dr. Zhu, Dr. Alter, Dr. David, and Dr. Shakarlu. Thank you for guiding me in the right direction, but letting me make my own decisions, even if you didn't agree with me, and sometimes even if they were not the right decision. Thank you for locking me in the triage office when I needed to be kept there for a hot minute or a hot hour in some cases. Thank you for going just from by across the room or across the OR by my raised eyebrows and a certain look that I needed help calling a PPH. Thank you for simply just listening to me and believing me when we would chat about the trials and tribulations of residency at Maimonides. You should all know that you're all on speed dial. I am getting a new car next week, so I will be able to come to drive to pick your brain if I ever need to. And you should expect many phone calls and texts come September when I start my new job as an attending. To my co-chiefs, I feel so lucky to have been able to share this unforgettable experience with you guys, and I look forward to hearing about all your new adventures via Team Sirius for many, many years to come. And now I'd like to give a shout out live on air to my mom, my dad, my brother, Diane, Larry, and Ben. We're all together, but they deserve some sort of collective honorary MD or PhD for raising me and putting up with me for the last really 29 years, but I guess you can say the 4 years. You guys at MIMO think you have it difficult. You have no idea. They have to live with me. And they've raised me since I was a child. I've been this way since I was born. With that being said, I know that you guys will all miss me dearly, and I suppose I can say the feeling is mutual. Thank you, guys.
And the diplominator will tell us who is next. Swetha, our PGY 10, 9, 11. So Swetha's highlights from her application, I didn't go back to her surgery application. I only stuck to her OBGYN application, included that she was born in Michigan, who knew? P.S. She completed a competitive 6-year joint BS-MD degree. Then during her 5 years in general surgery, she also got an MBA and was a heart-lung procurement fellow at Columbia for a couple of years. She also happens to be a licensed wedding officiant, summed up in the opening words of her personal statement, which said, quote, "I am a non-traditional candidate." She got all 5s on her interviews here with Drs. Brawl, Dr. McCullough, and our former GYN oncology, Dr. St. Clair, who said, quote, "She would do amazing here." Quote, "I would take her in a heartbeat." And quote, from Dr. McCullough, "I loved her." All of those things rang true, and we welcome Swetha and her graduation.
All right, not crying. It is both a privilege and an honor to recognize and introduce my mentee, Dr. Swetha Naroji, a member of the 2020 class of graduates, our residency training program. Dr. Naroji Swetha has exemplified excellence throughout the course of training with us in obstetrics and gynecology, coming to the department with prior training in surgery. My first personal remembered encounter with Swetha is during the annual onboarding boot camp simulation training session with the new first years. I knew we had a winner, a potential top trainee. when I asked Dr. Naroji to name a medication that can be used for tocolysis, and she eagerly exclaimed, Pitocin. Fast forward through 4 years of deliveries, precipitous vaginal deliveries, stat C-sections, surgical procedures, clinical sessions, ER encounters, elective rotation, onerous CREOG exams, and the sometimes ominous results, volumes of emails, hallways full of patients for triage and/or admissions without beds, debriefs, in briefs, B briefs, weeks of night float, award recognitions from peers and medical students, shared happy, sad, in between times with PA, nurses, unit receptionists, pediatricians, anesthesiologists, housekeeping, administrative staff, other residents, and attendings. And then with an appointment as an administrative chief resident. And those responsibilities handled with Swessa finesse. Dr. Naroji's presence and performance has been, without question, outstanding. I often and will continue to take unauthorized and unjustified bragging rights of Swessa being my daughter without the labor or the delivery, but with all the pride. I pay tribute to her parents, her mother, Dr. Shamala Naroji, and her late father, Sen Naroji. The essence of humble humanity and emotional intelligence that we have seen in Swessa requires recognition and acknowledgement of her upbringing and rearing. Sadly happy, as Swessa moves on and forward in her career, I salute her in obtaining a fellowship in pediatric adolescent gynecology at the National Institute of Health. Please join me in applauding Dr. Swessa Naroji for her tremendous accomplishments, past, present, and future.
Thank you, Dr. Ellison, and thank you, everybody. I didn't realize I was going to tear up during that introduction, but I totally did, and it meant a lot. The running joke is that after 10 years of being a Maimonides resident, I just can't ever seem to leave. I finished my residency duties in February, and then you guys shut down the borders and I couldn't travel anywhere. And then you started a pandemic and made me come back to the hospital to help out. Well, this Zoom meeting is now official. I have my diploma in my hand and a start date at my next spot. This is an official goodbye. Dr. Minkoff, I promise the speech will be short, but I do have a lot of gratitude I think I need to express. First of all, I want to thank my mother. I think she's watching. She said that the YouTube link was working. I want to thank you because you were really, really, really upset when I left surgery. And I understand why. You're my mother. You were worried that I was taking a leap off of a cliff and I had no idea what was happening after. But you were also very confident that I could do anything that I put my mind to. And that is what helped. Thank you for thinking that I was capable. And thank you for always yelling at me when I needed to be yelled at. That actually segues into my next thank you very well. Dr. Ellison, thank you for being my mentor, for being a mentor to everybody, but my mentor specifically. You were a listening board and you were a voice of reason when I was angry and when I was upset. I actually also wanted to bring up that intern boot camp where you promptly put me in my place. And it was a very, very embarrassing moment that I thought that that's what Pitocin did. I actually called my mother on my way out that day to complain about you and to complain that you had yelled at me and you told me that I needed to study more. And she laughed at me and said that she liked you and that I would probably end up learning a lot from you and that I should probably take to heart that I should study more and listen more. I did end up learning so much from you, both about being a doctor and then also about life, and I am eternally grateful. Dr. Yopes, Dr. Minkoff, Robin Gitman, Dr. Morel, Dr. Stein, Dr. Herzog, Dr. Comrie, Dr. Shakarlu, Dr. Silverman. There are so many other, every attending that I have had the pleasure of learning from. Thank you so much for taking a chance on me when I showed up on your doorstep saying I was a general surgery resident, but I was in the wrong field. Other places I interviewed at questioned whether or not I was sincere. Was there a reason that I had gotten kicked out of general surgery? Was there something I was hiding? And none of that was true. It was just that I was a resident in the wrong specialty and I knew where my passion was meant to go. You took me on as a new intern, and thank you so much for teaching me over the last 4 years. Thank you so much to the nurses, the midwives, and the PAs for helping us take care of patients. I echo what other residents have also said. You guys were our teachers on the ground level. You were the voices whispering in our ear to be like, actually, hold on, maybe you should go check that patient. And we couldn't have done it without you. To my chief class, to all the residents, to Emily, Jess, Danilo, Vibu, and Anna, thank you for keeping me sane. You made me laugh. You made work a lot of fun. And to all the residents, you guys are the best part of this, just absolutely the best part of this. And I hope you continue to have fun. I hope you continue to laugh at 2 o'clock in the morning when everything is going terribly and you have a line of patients out the door. The most important thing to do is to laugh with your other residents, and you guys have made that worth it. So that's the end of my thank yous. For the last part, I'm going to air my grievances. This is a list of all the people I hate in the department, and I will go through them one by one. Number 1, Joey Otto. No, I'm kidding. I will say that I'm very, very grateful. Thank you for teaching me. Please stay in touch. And I know I started this by saying that this was an official goodbye, but instead we'll make it an official see you soon, because somehow, some way, I'll end up back at Maimonides. We can all take our things off mute now because, as per Dr. Minkoff, because my speech is done.
Yay, Swetha!
Yay, Swetha!
We'll take you back.
A decade of Maimonides.
So long, so long.
In 3 years, we could really use a pediatric adolescent gynecologist, Maimonides, and we'll see.
That's what they say.
New York loves you, Swetha. And the diplominator will tell us which one of these tied young gentlemen we will do next. So Danilo and Dr. Herzog. So Danilo's application for residency. He won the Best Intern Award in Ecuador. He presented a poster at AAGL in 2011 before he even started residency. He plays the piano and the guitar. He competed internationally in tennis, and he used the term idiosyncrasies correctly in his personal statement. Dr. Sotkin, who interviewed him, felt that he would fit in when he interviewed you, and Dr. Chen thought that you were a perfect match, and I don't think that that was a tennis pun. So thank you. Congratulations to Danilo and Dr. Herzog.
So before I start, congratulations to everybody and to all the parents, specifically for Danilo. I want to send this to his parents. Buenas noches, doctor y señora Costa. Gracias. No, I'm going to do it in English. I'm only kidding. But I could tell you that I just want you to know that I want to thank you, his parents, for sharing Danilo with us for the last 4 years. You both should be very, very proud of him. I had the privilege of being his mentor during this time, and I myself am extremely proud of him and what he's accomplished. I've witnessed him on the podium numerous times presenting papers at prestigious conferences. His delivery was always reminiscent of a seasoned veteran, and I was always very proud of him. I've watched him co-lead the residents with Swetha in a professional, cordial way that kept this group together, even in the midst of this COVID-19 pandemic craziness. He was one of the first to volunteer to work in the COVID ICU, and he set a great example for his fellow residents. His surgical skills were already fellowship material in his third year, and he opens the sidewalls with ease. And thanks to my fellows, I feel like he could be done with his fellowship today. That's how great a surgeon he is. He's also a wonderful, dedicated husband to Rachel, and I'm sure that her kindness and empathy is rubbed off onto him. And hopefully the kids will look like her. I'm so very proud of Danilo. You guys have no idea. I can't wait to watch him climb up the ladder to the very top of the AAGL ladder with Camilla, because I know the two of them are going to go really far. GW is very lucky to have you as a fellow, Danilo, and we were lucky to have had the privilege of participating in your education. Good luck, and may you always have good health, happiness, and success. Salud.
Salud.
Oh, thank you so much, Dr. Herzog. That meant a lot. Also speaking about like my family and everyone back home. Thank you, I really appreciate it. All right. So again, thank you, Dr. Herzog, for that wonderful introduction. And thank you all faculty, fellows, co-residents, PAs, midwives, nurses, administrators, and staff. You were all wonderful. And you all contributed in a unique way to my education into becoming an obstetrician and gynecologist. I have so admiration and respect for so many people that have guided me through this journey. Your support and guidance was fundamental for my training. Dr. Minkov, Dr. Yopis, Dr. Slatkin, and Dr. Chen, since you all interviewed me or were part of the process, thank you for trusting me and choosing me as one of the residents you wanted in the program. I hope I fulfilled your expectations. Carmen, thank you so much for taking care of us. And you were always like a mom here in the department for us. There are so many experiences and lessons from my time at Maimonides that I will take with me to fellowship and beyond. From interview to now, every single day at Maimonides was a learning experiences. Sometimes it was very tough to be at Maimo, but in the end, right now, I can say it was amazing because we are very well-formed doctors and completely capable of practicing anywhere where we go. Once we train in a New York hospital, we can go anywhere. Other people cannot say likewise. I am thankful to God for the strength, endurance, perseverance, and resilience He provided me. It was really needed at a place like Maimonides, and especially in the last couple of months with COVID going on. It would be impossible for me to thank every attending or everyone that had an impact in my training. But you all know who you are. So I don't want to leave people behind by listing a few and not listing others. The person that I would like to acknowledge specifically is Dr. Herzog. You have been like a father away from home to me, constantly checking on my wife and me to make sure we're doing well, always asking about my parents, and even invited my dad to the hospital to observe some surgical procedures, and I really appreciated that. He really appreciated that. He always asked me about you, so you're like a father to me here. You have constantly gone out of your way to make sure I'm well taken care of, and you were fundamental in the process of me applying to fellowship and matching into a great place that I will be starting fellowship in July, so thank you. Thank you, Dr. Morel, for trusting Swetha and I with the role of administrative chief residence this past year. It was not an easy task, very daunting at times, but it was very rewarding. At the end, I can say that only right now, not during the time I was an admin chief. Swetha, I learned so much from you, and I'm glad we were paired together for this role. Tumi and Halima, you have Swetha's big shoes to fill, and I'm sure you will do great. You're already doing a fantastic job since taking over in the middle of a pandemic. We didn't have to do it, so all the kudos on you for that. Not everyone will be happy with the decisions you take, but that is what happens when you have a role like such that you have, and you will do fantastic. Vivo, amazing job with education chief role, and with everything we've gone through this year, and all the micheladas and drinks and everything, you know, everything that we've gone through in these past 4 years. This is also an opportunity that I can be thankful to all the people outside of work that made this achievement possible in one way or another and are currently watching this live stream from New York, from Atlanta, from Ecuador. So I wanna, this includes my wife, Rachel, my parents, brother, Janet, Mel, Lisa, Marisa, the Fleischers, Nana Abakumi, Uncle Diego and Ileana, the Weinstrass in Illinois, and the rest of my family and friends in Ecuador. As much as we think being a resident is hard, I cannot even imagine what it's like being married to a resident. In this sense, I would like to recognize my wife, Rachel, who moved all across from Atlanta. Well, we met in Ecuador first, then she moved all the way from Atlanta to New York to allow me to reach my goals in becoming an OBGYN. And once again, we're moving again in order to fulfill my dream of becoming a minimally invasive gynecologic surgeon in Washington, DC. I'm forever grateful to you and for the sacrifice you've made for this to happen, which is just a measure of how big your heart is and your selflessness. To my parents, brother, thank you for your unwavering and endless support throughout this long career. It's been long. To my dad, you have always been an inspiration to me, and now I can finally call you my colleague. He's an OBGYN as well. To all the residents, you are awesome. We're tough on you many times. You will understand why when you're a fourth year or third year as you climb up the ladder, but you're all amazing. You're training one of the busiest OB programs in the country, and this is not to be taken any lightly. Take care of each other because you're family and you spend more time at work than you spend time at home. Take care of yourselves as well. Emily, Swetha, Vivu, Solomon, Ariel, and Maureen, we're graduating under the most unusual circumstances in the middle of a pandemic. And as Dr. Morel has said many times, we will always be known as the COVID residents when people look back. I'm so proud of each and every one of you. We have gone through so much together, and although not everything has been happy times, we all strive together as a group, and I'm honored to be in your class and be your friend. I know each of you will have bright futures ahead of you and will make my Maimonides proud. So we did it.
Cheers.
Thank you, Danilo. I'm getting updates from Daniel Liss, who's been helping us with our live stream. We have about 103 people viewing on live right now. I think at least maybe more than half of those are probably just Danilo's family. So thank you very much.
You probably are.
So now to the Diplominator for who's next. It's a 50-50 and it's Ariel Benor. So on Ariel's application, he did a sub-I actually with Dr. Patrick Borgen at Maimonides. He actually said that on his application, he had a long-standing interest in global health. His hobbies included woodworking, which I want to know way more about. He was an Eagle Scout Lifetime Achievement Award winner. He graduated UC Berkeley in 3.5 years. His quote from feedback from his OBGYN clerkship in medical school, quote, Ariel knows what he wants to do. He is highly motivated. He learned car repair from his dad, who's known as the car doctor, in his personal statement. And he was interviewed by Dr. Chen and Dr. Slotkin, who said that, quote, he's bright, focused, articulate, and would be an asset to our program and a leader. Ariel Benor.
Thank you.
So before I start with Ariel, because I'm sticking to my 2 minutes, Dr. Morel. I just want you to know that. So basically, Solomon was also my mentee, and I just want to, I know that I'm not going to be introducing you tonight, Solomon, but I love you like a son, and I'm very proud of you, and I wish you the best of luck. So now I'm going to go to Ariel. So I'm very honored to introduce Ariel this evening. Again, I'm going to address this to the car doctor and Mrs. Benor. You should be very, very proud of him. He's worked extremely hard to achieve his goal of becoming an obstetrician gynecologist. This program is very difficult, as you've heard, labor intensive, overwhelming, anxiety provoking, but he tackled it and thrived. His knowledge is superior. I've always counted on Ariel at my Monday morning conferences to give me quotes from Up to Date, and somehow he figured out how to put that app on my BlackBerry, which is not an easy thing to do. So it's been helping me out a lot also. His surgical skills are excellent, and I've thoroughly enjoyed operating with him over the years. He was always on top of the most complicated GYN cases, and I was very appreciative of that. His passion to become a reproductive endocrinologist / fertility doctor is commendable. His willingness to conduct research in a high-powered REI practice in Manhattan during his gap year will definitely enable him to achieve his goal. And we are all very proud of him, and we look forward to that. Ariel is always respectful to his colleagues, and he's cordial to the patients and the staff. This is a tribute to you, his parents, and of course, to his dedicated, loving wife, Aviva. I was very proud of Ariel for volunteering to work in the COVID-19 ICU during the heart of the pandemic, and I enjoyed reading his memoirs in the OBGYN COVID Blast number 15, where he wrote a beautiful article that I was going to recite tonight, but I only had 2 minutes. But it was a beautiful article, and for those of you, you could go back in your email and read it. It was really a masterpiece. It was a beautiful thing, and it touched me. In conclusion, Mr. and Mrs. Benoit, we are all very, very proud of Ariel. We wish you all the best of health, happiness, and success.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dr. Herzog. Thank you, Dr. Herzog, for the genuine, heartfelt, and kind introduction. I want to start this off with a quote from Moses Maimonides, a great physician from the 12th century for whom our hospital is named. He said, "The physician should not treat the disease, but the patient who is suffering from it." And also in reference to medicine, he said, "Life is short and the art is long." These quotes resonate with me because throughout my 4 years of residency at Maimonides, I have learned to appreciate the art of medicine from the faculty, fellows, and other residents who have all inspired me and helped shape me into the doctor I am today. I have learned the importance of treating each patient as an individual with unique beliefs and perspectives on life. And at Maimonides, you get patients from all walks of life, all ethnicities, and all religions. From day one on labor and delivery, I had to adapt to the multitude of patients who came in, from those with birthing plans and requesting minimal medical intervention, to those who just arrived in America and don't speak a word of English except for "woman doctor." The list ran from not wanting an IV to wanting to go home with their placenta still attached. Although this seemed foreign to me, I learned to accept it, although the hospital wouldn't. Patient autonomy only goes so far. On the labor floor, I always found it interesting to watch some women endure the pain of labor because they felt that getting an epidural was not natural. Well, as Dr. Minkoff usually says, neither is plumbing, but polio is. I learned from my Chinese patients many cultural differences. I had learned to say push and breathe in Mandarin. I even learned to count to 10 at one point, although I definitely don't remember how to anymore. I once brought a cup of ice water to a postpartum patient only to be denied with a no, 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 no. It seemed ungrateful in the moment, but then I learned about the yin and yang of traditional Chinese medicine, where some hot foods bring heat to our bodies while cool foods cool them down. Now I understand why they're all drinking tea or broth postpartum, even in the heat of summer. From my religious Jewish patients, I learned about some cultural nuances that I hadn't even known. Could it be that the husband would always wait outside the labor room until the delivery was finished? Could it be that they were all too nervous or scared to watch the delivery, I initially thought? On the contrary, they couldn't be in contact with their wives when they were bleeding. From some of my patients from Eastern Asian cultures, I learned to incorporate the husbands in the shared decision-making process. For instance, one night in the middle of the night, a patient's husband kicked me out of the room when she was about to deliver. I frantically ran around to find a female doctor, only to realize that she delivered it on her own with the nurse moments later. At least that nurse has a great story to tell. Besides for the beautiful blend of multiculturalism at Maimonides, I'm glad I trained here because I feel confident to go out and practice medicine and comfortable knowing that I have dealt with the busiest labor and delivery ward in New York. Residency is a period of highs and lows, and OBGYN exaggerates that even more. I don't think I'm the only one who would say that the stresses and demands of our residency are grueling and mentally taxing, which ends up straining our relationships and makes us anxious. There were many sleepless nights, many snide remarks from nurses, some hurtful comments, some bad outcomes, but there were also many happy moments and joyous occasions, many great feelings of accomplishment, interpersonal growth, and great patient outcomes and satisfaction. These 4 years are such a whirlwind of emotion, a period of intense scrutiny, a boot camp, if you will. I never felt more challenged in my life. I honestly can't believe I'm looking back at it now. It felt so daunting in the beginning. Trust me, my juniors, your time will soon come. Looking back at these 4 years, I reflect on those doctors who have inspired me to do better, to learn more, to improve my clinical acumen, to strengthen my surgical skills, and say the right things to patients. I think about the constructive feedback I received and some of the destructive criticism as well. My advice to preceptors is this: the residents are here to learn and are often eager to improve. So say what you will with a soft tone and a sense of caring, and they will be more willing to take it to heart. My advice to the residents is this: when someone tells you that you're not doing something right or tells you to do it differently, think of it as their way of trying to help you improve. They may not always say it in the nicest of ways, but they usually mean well. I want to give a shout out to those who have made a sincere effort to training us residents, for having the patience to teach us and for correcting our mistakes. Thank you, Dr. Herzog, Dr. Palaleo, Dr. Friedman, Dr. Sandoval, Dr. Comrie, Dr. Van Cadler, Dr. Saraf, Dr. Brawl, Dr. Paiva, and Dr. Elfecki for teaching me how to excel in the OR and operate with finesse. Thank you, Dr. Stein, Dr. Ellison, Dr. Haberman, Dr. Fisher, Dr. Baya, Dr. Minkoff for teaching me to think critically, challenge the norm, advocate for patients, and be a role model. Thank you, Dr. Grazi and Dr. Kulak for teaching me to instill hope in my patients and for your membership and inspiration. Thank you, Dr. Chen, Dr. Slacken, and Dr. Yopis for accepting me into the program. And thank you, Dr. Morel, for directing me in the right path. Most importantly, I'd like to thank my parents and family for all their support and kindness, my in-laws for taking such good care of me, and of course, my lovely, amazing wife for bearing through these arduous 4 years with me, for keeping me sane, for cooking me dinner, for loving me, and for supporting me. And I wouldn't be here without you. Thank you, everyone else, for anything and everything you have done to help me get here. I'm grateful for it, and Maimonides will always forever hold a special place in my heart.
And that is the exact reason, other than Emily being there to remind her that this is always the box that I had when she came into my office, why I had these close by. And last of the OBGYN residents, but certainly not the least. And certainly not the least in terms of numbers of years in the field of medicine. Solomon, you put Swetha to shame when you actually look at the number of years that you have been trying to get where you are right now, sir. So here's a short rundown of your very long application. You won the award for best performance in surgery during your MBBS exam, which is why you then couldn't turn down the surgery residency that you were offered, which you did, where you spent 5 years after medical school, and then you were a medical officer in Nigeria. You then did a prelim year for surgery at Cleveland Clinic. And you also, in terms of research, you win the longest title. You had a poster that was called Perineal Wound Healing and Long-Term Outcomes After Salvage Abdominoperineal Resection for Local Failure of Anal Squamous Cell Carcinoma Following Chemoradiation. And you presented that in 2015.
That was a long one.
The other one, my other favorite, you had my #1 favorite part of yours was that you said, I'm an avid sports fan and I follow the best soccer team in the world, Man U.
Yeah, they dropped down the ladder a bit.
You're less proud of them right now. You were interviewed by Dr. Ellis and Dr. Chen, who thought that you were very humble, capable, and genuine, which rang true throughout your 4 years with us. And Dr. Minkoff gave you a 5 out of 5. You guys don't know this, but Dr. Minkoff does not give 5s at interviews. And his quote was, he was a most thoughtful candidate. And I cannot agree more.
Yes, Solomon. Thank you very much.
Dr. Comrie.
We discussed Man U the entire interview, so that's where he got the 5s.
So, this is obstetrics, so the twin effect. I share that position with Dr. Herzog. So, I'm speaking on Solomon tonight. Dr. Solomon Abroko. I know now, as I was preparing this, why I always call you Professor, Professor Solomon. So Solomon came into our program quiet to the point of, is he shy until he opens his mouth? And Solomon has been here, his presence well felt. We always feel very great during prayer because he's the man. His knowledge is good, excellent. And his surgical skills, of course, he has the little advantage because this surgery was not new to him. So what do I say about Solomon after all that Dr. Morell said? So we know how he worked in this program. We know how he navigated the system. We know how he just learned the art of being a great team player with his team. And if there's one thing that I love about operating with Solomon, beyond his following his cases, he always after surgery, he calls the debriefing to find out what he could have done differently or what could have been done in a different way to acquire a different outcome if we're struggling with certain areas. And that's how you grow. The other part of Solomon is a family man. And he takes care of his family and he lifts and separates. So as he's doing that, within the program, I never experienced his duties as a husband and father and son encroaching on his performance. And that's great. What I also loved about Solomon, as he is busy trying to organize his program, he plays a big role in his wife's education and what happens for her. And that's the man. So I say that Solomon has proven his mettle. He has been able to cope with difficult situations in our program. He has faced demanding situations in our program, and he has come out quite resilient. And one last thing of my 2 minutes. Solomon's dream, he's not done yet if you guys think he's over. He wants to be a GYN oncologist. And so I say, as you go into Michigan, align yourself with a GYN oncologist, continue to see how you can be around cases, write a few papers, do not lose sight of your dream, do not receive any naysayers, because if you're not where you want to be in this field, you are going to be miserable. So I want you to continue to fight your dreams. And again, I would be remiss if I did not speak about the upbringing, your fine manners, and to thank your parents for what they did to bring you this far. And as I look at you tonight, I'm trying to say, is this Professor Solomon or is this Emperor Solomon? Mm-hmm. Because you are looking sharp. I'm proud of you. And I want you to go out and just continue to make things happen. You've been well trained. You have an amazing fund of knowledge. Use it well and continue to make us proud. Love you, Solomon.
Thank you very much, Dr. Comrie. Overall, I have very similar sentiments with all that my classmates have expressed this evening. And for me, today is a day of being very grateful and being thankful first and foremost. I'm a person of faith, and I'll say thanks to God. And then thanks to a lot of people. If I get emotional in the middle of my speech, please understand with me. I came into this place wanting to be better than I ever was. And I would say the effort of faculty, the effort of the attendants and my classmates, the nurses, the PAs, and all that I've worked with, you've all made me into a better person. I'm not the kind of person who would say I have reached the very highest of heights. I came here dreaming to be a better doctor, and so far you've made that dream a possibility for me. My mother is here sitting right by me today. She's all the way from Africa, and I'm very thankful to her for standing by us, being with us, raising 8 kids and 8 boys and 1 daughter in Africa, and helping us to get educated, starting from the humblest of backgrounds. And amongst us today, we have several doctors, we have engineers, lawyers, and looking at the very humble point from which we started, this is a dream that was essentially thought impossible. I'm full of thanks to Dr. Minkoff and Dr. Yopis, who gave me the opportunity after interacting with me to come here and to train. Dr. Herzog, you've been a father. You've really guided me. You gave me reason to be confident at times when I didn't feel confident. You gave me hope at times when I thought it was the end of the road for me. I want to thank every single member of the faculty. I will mention a number of names. It's not because I appreciate only those people. I appreciate everyone, but I'm just going to list a number of names here. I'm grateful to Dr. Ellison, to Dr. Comrie, obviously. Thank you very much, Dr. Baya. You were really there for me right from the time that I was an intern. Dr. Hosseini, you've shown a lot of love to my family. Dr. Robinson, Dr. Atala, Dr. McLaren, Anwar Feki, and I'm very grateful to Camila Pava. She is one of the best doctors that I have worked with, a very patient teacher, an inspiration. You made a lot of contribution to my life. I'm not as eloquent as everybody else, but my feelings are as deep and as sincere. To say that you are an island to yourself is to be ungrateful, to be ignorant, or to be arrogant, or a combination of them all. I am very grateful to my friends and colleagues, the PAs, the nurses, the midwives, the cleaners, the people who have helped us go through this place. Last but not the least, I want to thank the Borough Park OBGYN group. You bring volume to this program, and the volume you bring has helped us to train to be some of the best graduating OBGYN residents in this country. Thank you to my fellow chief. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I believe we'll all meet at the top and we are going to do well. I'm grateful to my managers and to this program for helping us come this far. Thank you very much, Dr. Morel, for your patience, for being able to call us in and talk to us one-on-one. I am very, very grateful. Thank you.
We're going to transition now. Hopefully Dr. Brawl can come on the video. Dr. Brawl and Dr. Herzog are now going to introduce Camila after I give you some highlights from even her residency application a few years ago. So Camila actually worked as a general practitioner in Brazil before her residency, and she had very few things on her application, such as 12 posters, 3 orals, and 3 publications. There was a quote one time where it said, "Camila's appearance is impeccable." And although I'm not sure that that was appropriate for a recommendation, it might have been a little lost in translation from one of your Miami doctors, but I agree 100%, your appearance is always impeccable. Your hobbies also included exercising and bodybuilding, which I find fascinating, although you've always been in great shape and you're always the healthiest eater on labor and delivery. And then I read your personal statement, and Camila, I have to tell you, I'm probably going to cry trying to reread just an excerpt from it. You write like an author, and I encourage you, I hope that you are writing, because your personal statement basically could have been a book, but all of you are going to understand that this quote from Camila encompasses her as not just a doctor, but as a human being. "I am in love with medicine, which enlightens my mind with its wealth of details and my heart beats with joy at every smile I see on a patient's face. Offering my abilities to my equals fills my spirit and gives me strength to attend my endeavors. This is what I intend to do for a living for the rest of my life. And with no further ado, Camila Paiva.
Woo! Camilla!
Pedram said he can't hear.
I can't hear.
We can hear you. Do you want him to speak?
I cannot hear.
Pedram?
Does everybody hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Go ahead.
You hear me?
Start speaking. Yes.
Okay, I can hear you, but I talk. So, all right. It's really my honor to, even though I did not hear anything Kathleen said, but I'm sure that everything she said was nothing but positive. I tried to write something to say about Camilla. I actually tried it 2 or 3 times, and I said, you know what, it just never works when I try to write my speeches. So I said, I'm going to talk just from the heart. Camilla, you were an amazing resident. You were even a better fellow. You joined us 2 years ago as a fellow and really rised and really showed what a true fellow is about. I'm proud that I had something to do with your education. You showed that you can face the challenges head on and overcome anything that is on your way. I can obviously tell you that you made me extremely comfortable in the operating room in difficult cases where you could take lead and take charge and do what you needed to do. You not only were a great surgeon, but an amazing teacher to the residents. You were responsible. I wasn't very happy to see that you're going to leave, but I am very happy for you because I know that that is the place that you're going to shine even more than you did here. So Florida has an amazing person to gain. New York has an amazing person to lose. You were part of our family for 2 years, before that for 4 years. And I can say that never give up on anything. I know our last case was a bit challenging at the entrance, but don't give up. Those things happen, you know, many more times. One thing I want to tell you that this is not the end of your education. This was just the sort of your platform to start your real work from. It's very uncomfortable not to hear you guys, but I also wanted to say, I know that it's probably someone else is going to talk about it. Dr. Minkoff, you have been my mentor for the past 21 years or so, maybe 22 years now. You were my chair for the past 20 years, and it's really sad to see you go. I can say that Camilla is probably one of the best surgeons that I have worked with, and you are by far one of the smartest person that I've ever met with. And it's my honor for you to have been my chair. It's my honor for Camilla to have been my fellow. And with that, I would hand it off, I believe, to Dr. Herzog to say a few words. Congratulations, Camilla.
So Camilla, I'm dedicating these next few words to your parents. Everybody loves Camilla. Everybody loves Camilla. I can't say that enough. There's no one in the hospital that doesn't speak highly of you. Camilla's a very special woman and a wonderful doctor, caring. The patients, I've seen so many thank you letters from patients that was so touching that they literally brought tears to your eyes. The patients loved her. She's already a master surgeon and a professor to be. I can guarantee you she will be a full professor. In the history of this fellowship, nobody has been a better teacher than her. She's ascribed to that concept of being a wonderful teacher. She taught the residents. She cared about the residents. She wanted to see them thrive. And I'm so proud of her. You just have no idea. And both your parents should be very, very proud of you as well. As a matter of fact, you should be proud of both Camilas because they're a model couple and we've all learned from them. They support one another academically, socially, financially, and emotionally. And they are wonderful mothers as well. Those kids are real lucky. Well, one kid, one to go. I really wish you the very best of luck, Camila. And as always, we're always here for you. I'm very, very proud of you. Health, happiness, and success.
Here, here. Bibu, you gotta turn off your mute if you want to clap.
Thank you for the introduction. Starting from Dr. Morero, you already made me cry from the beginning, so it's gonna make this really hard now. So my family in Brazil is watching, so I wish I could do this in Portuguese. They're like asking to translate everything. I cannot put together a speech that would accurately show you how thankful I am. Not only to all of you present here today in this Zoom meeting, but also those that are not here for several reasons. If I thought my learning curve was steep enough doing residency, it was even steeper doing fellowship. I want to thank my best faculty, which is Maureen, our scrub tech. She was faculty of my faculty, and I feel very honored to be under her mentorship. Many of you don't have the title of faculty, but in this teaching institution, you all are. You taught me how to crawl, how to walk, how to run, and now I feel like I can fly. You were my support in times of need, and I will be forever grateful. You celebrated my wedding with me. You helped me bring my beautiful baby boy into the world. I'm sorry. And so my Maimo family. I don't have to tell you how much you mean to me and how much I'll miss you because I know you know it. To my dear mix mentors and AAGL team, you shared with me your extraordinary surgical skills. You invested your valuable time in me. You unleashed my potential to be a MIG surgeon. I can only hope to honor you and make you proud during my career. Dear boss Marianne and Chief Amro, I was very lucky to have shared this road with you. To my family back home, eu amo vocês e morro de saudades. Muito obrigada pelo suporte e carinho sempre. The concept of love of my life has changed quite a lot for me in the recent years. It belongs not only to my wife, Camila, but also to my beautiful baby boy, Ben, and soon to come baby boy, Noah. You are my everything, and I'm so looking forward to enjoying the most precious moments in life with you. Thank you, everyone, from the bottom of my heart, and I miss you all already.
So, you know, Camila, that we would never be able to get away without letting Amro say a few words about you.
Fair.
You guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
All right, just a quick shout out to the graduating class. You guys are amazing. I had a lot of fun with you in the OR this year. It's been excellent. I wish someone stayed as an MIS fellow or an MFM fellow or an attending, but you guys are off to better things.
Sorry, bro.
Chief Camila, I miss you. Very sad that you're leaving. I will never leave you go. It's only fair that this is not going to be cord cutting. This is going to be temporary clamping. I followed you as an admin chief. I followed you into MIS fellowship. I am following you to Miami. All right, without further ado, I have some roast comments from our lovely MIS faculty. I think they are able to know what roast is, but a lot of it is just praising you, a combination of both, so bear with me. I'm starting off with Dr. Herzog's comments, Camilla would tell you the best stories about things that happened in the OR, but she would never tell you who it was, even if you pull a gun to her head. At the end of a case, suction irrigation is never dry enough for Camilla, but that is obviously a good thing. Camilla is never happy with the regular AAGL perirectal space. She always has to divide it like an oncologist to the medial and lateral perirectal space, but that is a tribute to her expertise. Next, I have Dr. Sandoval for you. Camilla, I'm very jealous that you're going to Miami and I'm still in New York. Unfortunately, I have to say goodbye. I did not want you to leave this fellowship. You are one of the best and strongest fellows we ever had. Great teacher, great surgeon. Ever since you were a chief resident, you always stole my cases away from me and never let me do anything. I wish we all love you here. Hopefully I will see you soon in Miami, including me, Camilla. This is from Dr. Brawl. Camilla goes nuts when she thinks we have to open a patient, but then she realizes that it could be done laparoscopically. On a separate note, I'm sincerely thinking of sending her my CV to join her. This is from Dr. Saraf. Not naming any names, Camilla's boss absolutely loves her, like everybody else, but this is special. So much so that he secured her a mayoral honor, well-deserved. The feeling is mutual. Camilla was the progressive voice of reason before her fellowship began. Her boss, being the absolute conservative, supported the current leadership in the country, bigly. Camilla, being the loyalist, changed her views painfully to support and elect an extreme conservative to her own home country of Brazil. It goes to show the extent people can go for loyalty. I don't know anything about politics. This is from Dr. Alexidis when I requested a roast from him. This is what he said. Honestly, I can't think of anything to roast her. Maybe we can roast her for the fact that she has been so perfect in all aspects. And this is from me to you, Camilla. I love Camilla's reaction to any exciting story. She will always conclude by saying, "Are you kidding me?" Camilla, I will miss your regular voice notes that start off by saying, "Hello, Omro boy," and then it continues for hours about great research ideas. Thank you. I appreciate everything. I will see you soon.
And so graduating chiefs, you didn't think that you were going to be able to go away without, even though we couldn't have all of your 18 junior residents on with you, there is still some roast material along for you. So you were all given a packet by Carmen Lo Piccolo last week. If you want to open up those packets now, what you see is printouts of all 7 of your heads on sticks. Well, technically there's tongue depressors that Lisa Marie helped me steal from the clinic on 48th Street, but they are heads on sticks. So what you're going to see now is that this is a game we're going to call How Well Do You Know Your Co-Chiefs? So we now have some questions that we asked all 18 of your junior residents, and we had them vote as to which one of the 7 of you would be most likely to be given the question. What I want you to do is then I want all of you to vote once you see the question come up with the face, covering your own face, so we can only see one of the faces at a time, as to who do you think that they think answers that question. Without further ado, let's go to the first question. Daniel, there we go. Which chief is most likely to come late to sign out? Hold up your paddles. Oh, we have some mixed votes here. Some Ariel, some Swetha, a Solomon. And
Also, Ariel.
And who's the answer?
Hey, here.
Who's the answer? They voted Ariel.
Ariel, how dare you?
I'm never late.
You see that there was a mix of almost all 7 of you got at least 1 vote. Next question. Which chief is most likely to fall asleep anywhere?
By far, 100%.
Who's that?
There's a lot of Danilo heads being held up, and the answer was.
It has to be 100%.
Oh,
no.
Inaccurate.
But there's a difference. It's sleep on the job, not napping in the courtroom. It's sleep on the job while doing.
Danilo, you can't. No, the question was you.
Next question. Which chief is most likely to ask you, what is a Philly cheesesteak?
Solomon.
Got some Solomon votes, a Marine vote, and the answer is 100% Solomon.
What is a Philly cheesesteak? Yeah.
It's one of my favorite things when I get to help Solomon order dinner at night.
Or sausage and cheese. That's the second answer.
Next question. Which chief is most likely to throw the phone?
Ooh.
100%.
Emily.
Emily heads, Vibu head.
Actually, yeah. I mean,
extra point.
And the answer is.
Like throw the phone on purpose?
Emily is a resemblance with a little sweater.
Ooh, no, who said? Someone is about to have a phone thrown at them. That is very inappropriate.
Next question. Which chief is most likely to declare, it's tea time?
Vibu.
I see a Maureen vote, and the answers are?
Bubble tea or tea time? Oh.
Emily got a vote in there as well, interestingly enough. Next question. Which chief is most likely to miss a delivery because they were getting their nails done? I see a Danilo vote.
Vibu, what the heck?
The answer is?
I hate you, Vibu.
Oh, Danilo got some of it.
Question.
Okay. You guys are crazy.
Which chief will be the first one to quit obstetrics?
Oh.
Hello, Sweta.
No, I'm not gonna quit.
I mean, I'm not doing obstetrics, so.
Yeah.
Danilo.
There's an Ario, a Danilo vote, and the answers were?
Ariel.
Yes.
Oh.
Mix on this one.
Makes sense, yeah.
Next question. Which chief is most likely to have their own talk show? Solomon and Emily.
I would be on a talk show with Solomon.
Everyone's just voting for each other. And the answers were?
Vibu.
I watched Emily Settlement.
Swetha.
Yeah.
Watch out, Oprah.
I'm going to quit obstetrics.
Which chief has the best slide tackle in soccer?
Ariel.
What he would do? Ariel would just tackle.
Yeah, Ariel's just the best.
And the answers were?
I have it, yeah.
Oh, Ariel.
But
also, again, why is Swetha on this?
Why is that? Because you were 1 year, you were very good.
My uncle's never been
Next question. Which chief was most likely a secret doula in their past life?
So I thought, obviously.
I think.
I don't know. You won the Golden Birth Ball Award, Maureen.
That's true.
A lot of Swetha, one Ariel vote, and the answers were?
Maureen, 100%. No, what?
Swetha.
Yeah, Danilo, I just never doulaed you.
Oh. Thank you for not dueling me.
Which chief is most likely to be successful in talking themselves out of a GYN console?
Me. Good one, Ariel.
Emily.
Emily.
Yeah.
Allison.
That was a 100% vote for Emily, and the answers were mostly Emily.
Emily.
A little bit of Danilo, a little bit of Swetha, a little bit of Ariel.
That's Emily.
Next question.
And
which chief is most likely to be in the chief call room?
Ariel.
Oh, there's a Danilo vote from Swetha.
Oh, Swetha.
What?
And the answers were Ariel with the Maureen.
Yeah.
Next question. Which chief is most likely to party the night before they're on call?
They're on call? Yeah, that's probably me.
Maureen?
I am torn between these two.
There's a mix here. And the answers were also kind of mixed. Maureen, little Swetha, little Emily, little Danilo in there, yeah.
Little party little.
Next question.
Where's Solomon?
Which chief is most likely to be called into Dr. Morell's office?
Oh.
Emily!
Emily!
And the answer is Emily.
Know thyself.
The box is always ready, Emily. Next question. Which chief is most likely to open up a cash-only Park Avenue practice?
Oh gosh.
Ariel.
A Swetha vote, an Emily vote, an Ariel vote, a Maureen vote. This is all over the place. Another Swetha vote. And the answer is
Ariel.
Very mixed. Very mixed. There's some Solomon in there. Some Emily.
Yeah. Got a 33%.
And the next question. Which chief is most likely to get lost in the hospital?
Oh. Just because she's new though. Otherwise.
Some Solomon, some Maureen.
Yeah, Solomon.
Solomon.
And the answer is Solomon.
Solomon.
You guys know each other well.
No.
Any more questions? I think we're close. Yep. You guys know your co-chiefs very well. So the next thing that we now have is Dr. Minkoff is going to say.
All right. Well, first of all, I know I'm at the end of the night. You're all very tired, so I promise I will only speak for 2 minutes. You have to guess whether it's a 2-minute Herzog talk or a 2-minute Comrie talk. So the different concepts of 2 minutes. It's a little daunting. I've done a lot of these graduation speeches, as you can imagine, but you're used to having someone who tells jokes. You're used to having a large audience, and there's always someone there who will laugh out of politeness, and then somebody else thinks there's been a joke told, and it spreads through the audience. But looking at these tiles, I know you never have that opportunity, so I'm going to give you little helpful hints. You might just, if you see this sign, you know there's been a joke. So at the very beginning of the evening, Janet started off talking about transitions, and obviously this is a night of transitions. You're leaving to enter the medical field, and I am transitioning out of the medical field, and it just like when we meet with the residents at the end of your chief year, as you know, Kathleen and I always ask you, what can you teach the next year? How can we make the next year better? Well, I had to do the same thing for Janet, and Janet knows this. I told her the same thing I tell anybody who's about to become a chair. It's called the story of the 3 envelopes. I'm sure some people in the greater audience have heard it, but I will repeat it now. It's the advice to an incoming chair. So a new chair gets the job, goes into the office of the old chair and sees there's a note there from the previous chair. And it reads, you're going to have a honeymoon, but after a period of time, the natives are going to get restless. They're going to be unhappy. When that happens, open the 3 envelopes under this letter, but do it in sequence. So as predicted, everything's wonderful for a few months, and then the faculty starts to complain. We're not getting the resources. We don't have the OR time, whatever it is. The new chair runs back to the room, opens the first envelope, and it says, blame your predecessor. So the new chair gets up in front of everybody and said, you don't know the mess I was left. We were sinking in a pool of red ink. But I've got the attention of the president. We're going to get more resources. Greatness lies ahead. Climb that mountain with me. We will reach the mountaintop. And everybody's happy. They go back to work and they're cheery for the next few months. And then they get disgruntled again. Where's the money they promised? Where's the resources they promised? Where's the OR time? So the chair now runs back and opens the second envelope. And it says, blame the dean. They come out and said, the dean doesn't appreciate OBGYN. All he cares about is surgery. But I have the ear of the chairman of the board. He understands how critical we are to the mission of this institution. We're going to achieve greatness. Stay with me as we climb to the mountaintop. Sure enough, everybody's happy for a while, but then again, months pass, and once again, the faculty starts to grumble. Nothing's happened. We haven't gotten better. So the new chair runs back and opens the third and last envelope, and it says, prepare your own 3 envelopes. So in essence, I have now become, thank you, I needed that. Maureen, where's your cat? Show up the cat. That's always good for you. I have other ways of getting your, if you're not sure if there's something funny, I have this right here. We could, okay, I don't know if that helped. but I am prepared to now become the first envelope for Janet. So a few months from now, she's going to be telling you that Dr. Minkoff left things in a mess, and it will be true. Whoever that is, I appreciate that. Please keep doing it. You know, this does remind me of something my daughter once told me. I've got to turn that off, I guess. Many years ago, we were walking down the street on 48th Street. This was 15 years ago. She was young at the time. And I was talking to a resident walking down the street. I said something and they laughed and then walked on. And my daughter turned to me and she said, you know, Dad, you're not funny. They're just laughing because you're the chair and they have to laugh. So I'm about to find out whether or not what I'm saying is actually humorous or not. But enough about me. I do want to take this time to talk to the class of 2020. And you are a unique class. People have said that already. You will always be known for that. There are certain years that stand out in history. You know, 1492 for the two great events, the discovery of America and the invention of the semicolon. Most people don't know that, but that's true. And people can become an expert in the history of the 15th century. But if you say you're an expert in the year 2020, they're going to say, really, what month? Because things have changed so dramatically from different parts. And we are all left with a variety of feelings about what we have been through. We look at the COVID epidemic and we think things will never be the same, and we're left feeling somewhat hopeless. But then we see what's been happening in the streets in the months after that with the social disruptions, and we say things will never be the same, but now we're hopeful. And that's how I feel about looking at these people graduating tonight, what you have been through, what it has made of you, and how special you are. You will never forget, and your family should know, it's not second nature to run into a fire. You know, my wife always told my son, I didn't raise you to run into fires, I raised you to run out of fires. And doctors don't usually sign up to do that, but no one backed away. There's an old saying that the strongest steel is forged in the fires of hell. And these people have gone through those fires. And they can kid about it, they can say what they want about it, but they stood up. Sweater came back to work in an ICU, people with COVID. So did many of the other residents here. It really makes them special. I probably can't be as eloquent as the people every night at 7 o'clock who bang those pots for what you've done. You stepped in, you do what doctors do in a crisis. You did it professionally and you did it with courage. You know, our governor is fond of quoting FDR, who said, courage is not the absence of fear, it's recognizing it's so important as your fear. And for you, it's your oath. And you kept to your oath. And for what you've done over the last 4 months, I will always admire you and appreciate you. For what you've accomplished for the last 4 years, I will always salute you. And it sort of reminds me as a final note, to paraphrase what the gladiators used to say when they went into the arena, we who are about to retire salute you. And those are my words. Thank you for what you've done.
This is Dr. Minkoff's last graduation as chair. It is not the last one he'll be invited to, so I hope he continues to come to those, especially our no longer virtual ones that will hopefully happen next June.
I need better laughter, though. I've got this prepared also, just in case. I was hoping for that.
You better keep that laugh track, because I think once you're not chair anymore, you might need to walk around with it.
My family has warned me of that many times.
But because of that, you asked me, you told me that I had to swear that I didn't do anything to recognize the fact that you were retiring. So I'm going to say that I have kept that oath. And with no further ado, Danilo, you're up.
All right. So it is my turn, since Dr. Morel couldn't do this. All the residents, on behalf of all the residents representing them, the 25 of us, and I'm sure all the previous generations of residents that have gone through MIMO as you as a chairman and faculty of Maimonides, I wanna give you a present that you should probably have right now. Hopefully you didn't open it before tonight. So on behalf of all the residents, I would like to present to you this plaque. Dr. Minkoff's recognition of the time you serve as the chairman.
Let me open this up here.
I'm sorry?
How did you get a picture of me when I was an intern? I'm just truly amazed.
I don't know. Those are my skills, so I don't know. Dr. Minkoff is a...
This is actually me as a young man. Thank you very much.
Oh.
I didn't know, and my eyebrows had grown out a little bit more.
This is a recognition from all the residents for the time you have served as a chairman of obstetrics and gynecology at Maimonides Medical Center and recently at SUNY Downstate as well. But also you were voted by all the residents to be the most likely to succeed post Maimonides.
Right. I just want to know who decided to white out our teacher. What did I do to have, there was a vote was held at the last minute and said, no, I don't know about that teacher thing. Let's put in the laughs instead. He's pretty sensitive about that.
So thank you very much. I hope it is it's a large plaque. I hope you have a space of, you probably have so many of these.
No, and it's not the plaque. It's honestly, it's a wonderful plaque, but it's the thought more than the plaque. And you guys are all my legacy, and that's, you do it while you love it, and you also do it while you think you're good at it. And the point is, when should you think about your retirement? Right before your boss does. So you want to get out before they start thinking that you should leave. Although my wife tells me she took me for better or worse, but not for lunch. So I will be not disappearing. I'm going to be working in the School of Public Health a few days a week. And if anybody needs help with papers, that's what I'm there for. So it's really been my honor, my pleasure. You guys are great. I look forward to watching your career surpass mine. And I would honestly like to say, I've had a very long and satisfying career. And I hope you have one just like it. And at the end of that career, I hope that you are as proud of yourselves as I am proud of you tonight.
Thank you, Dr. Minka.
Thank you.
And just because I've always been a terrible liar, for those of you who still have a glass in your hand, I would like to put up a toast to Dr. Howard Minkoff and the millions of people whose life he has affected. Because when we do COVID tracking, if we could do Howard Minkoff tracking, it would probably be millions. To Dr. Howard Minkoff.
Thank you.
Cheers.
I just want to thank everybody. This was a very difficult thing to try to figure out how to make a virtual graduation wonderful. And I have to say, with the tears that I have shed and the Kleenex that I have gone through and the fact that I can't believe I'm sitting here in stretch pants but a sparkly top at the same time, that I have truly been, it's been an absolute pleasure. And I want to thank every single one of you. I want to also thank the over 100 people at home who are currently watching, all of the family members who have been able to watch us and been able to contribute to this. I hope maybe sometime we can figure out a way to have the live graduation, but also have it virtual so that all of these wonderful people who are so much a part of the community of our residents at Maimonides, the families who are far away, and also the families who are close. I want to just have one last round of applause for the class of 2020 from Maimonides. As they used to say on Looney Tunes. That's all, folks.
Ain't no more.
Thank you, Kathleen.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Congratulations,
Very nice,
2020.
very nice.
Good luck,
Very
everybody.
nice.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah,
You're
great
welcome.
job.
Love you all.
Thank you.
Mwah. Bye, Camila. Good luck to you. Love you. I love you all. Gonna miss you.